You're only smoking mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. You're only smoking mirrors tonight. I don't know why I'm singing now. I am I that just like confused after like everything that's happened since the last time I've done a review. I've been so between pissed off and laughing and just what the fuckery that I have to introduce it that way because I mean just nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing makes sense. It's blackjack. This is the main event Swerve. I'm doing the Raw review for November 25th of 2013 because Smalls appropriately no sold the main event and a decent amount of that Raw. Why is it just no sold Raw in general? And watch Monday Night Football. Granted, the Monday Night Football game wasn't that great either. Granted, to be honest though, the Monday Night Football game was probably a lot better than this Raw, to be honest. And pretty much all this Raw was everything that should have happened at Survivor Series, but that happened at the Raw following it. And the WWE has had a really bad problem of doing this, where at the pay-per-view, they'll seem to end all the feuds, but then they come back the very next night on Raw and then take the feuds in a new direction, which is what they should have been fucking doing at the pay-per-view, you know? Like, nothing really makes sense. So you feel stupid for buying the pay-per-view at Survivor Series because everything that should have happened at the pay-per-view happens the next night at Raw. And then you come to Raw and it's like, oh, I didn't miss anything because they're just doing all the rematches again. So here we go. Raw starts out. I actually missed this part. I just rewatched it this morning. Raw starts out. And Michael Strahan is a special guest host tonight for Raw. He does a bunch of stuff because he's Michael Strahan and we're in New York. And yeah. So basically it starts with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and he congratulates Triple H congratulates Randy Orton, saying that they couldn't be more pleased with what he did, and that Orton can be one of the greatest superstars of all time, yada 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 yada, sucking Randy off. And then John Cena's music hits, and he comes out to the ring. And John Cena says one of the things that I think is probably the most ironic thing Cena could have ever said. And I think like Steph was asking what he wanted, and Cena goes and talks about how the crowd is chanting for Daniel Bryan and doing the yes chants because they're sick of who the WWE champion is. Which is very ironic considering that, hey, John Cena, when you had the belt, they were doing the exact same thing. I don't know if you know that or not, or if you realize it. I know your character's supposed to be oblivious to shit like that. But hey, we're tired of you too. I'm still very, very angry at the fact that Damian Sandow pretty much destroyed this guy and couldn't beat him when he cashed in. And there were some people saying like, oh, this is just going to make it so much better when Sandow actually does beat Cena. Sandow's nowhere near that picture. No. He's doing hardcore gimmicks with Dolph Ziggler right now. He's in no picture to even compete with John Cena right now. They've fucked up Sandow. They've fucked him up. I'm still so angry about that in so many ways. I mean, do I understand why it had to happen? Yeah, but it didn't have to happen like that. The way that it happened made zero sense. None. John Cena's arm, if I'm supposed to believe that all that stuff is real and that all that stuff happened, John Cena's arm should be in a cast right now. He shouldn't even be wrestling right now. But he's Superman, so that's what he does. Anywho, Cena says that Randy Orton is the champion, but he disagrees and yada yada yada, and he feels that now all of a sudden this is the time for there to only be one champion. Ooh, I'm John Cena. I have the lesser championship. I don't like that you have the newer one. So now there should only be one champion now. Just one now. Just like, really? Really? So now they're going to unify the titles. So they're both going to go into TLC in a table, ladders, and chairs match. They're going to hang both titles above the ring, and I'm expecting anything stupid to happen. I'm waiting for like John Cena to pull down the WWE title, and then Randy Orton to pull down the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm expecting something that stupid to happen because I'm not ruling out anything at this point. I'm so not interested in John Cena, Randy Orton, and I've missed wrestling for the past 5 years. I've just gotten back in this March, but after seeing I remember when John Cena, Randy Orton feuds were going on when I left, and now we're back at that. This is 11 years in the making. 11 years in the making for a feud that's pretty much happened a lot of times already. Wasn't there already a contract set in place for these guys to never fight for the title again, but we're doing it anyway? Because fuck Batista. You know what? I'm moving on. Moving on because I'm tired of this. So in 3 weeks, that's going to all be taken care of. Next match, we have The Shield versus Cody Rhodes, Goldust, and Rey Mysterio. Roman Reigns, man. That's all you need to know. Roman Reigns just, oh my God. Just, I can't even, man. Roman Reigns has a giant ass rocket in his ass, and it is shooting him to the fucking moon. He was just handing out free spears the entire night, just like in Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is pretty much just means if you missed a pay-per-view, here is Roman Reigns going off again. Roman Reigns speared the shit out of Goldust, and he speared the shit out of Mysterio. And then Cody Rhodes took him out of the ring. Dean Ambrose hit that headlock driver that he does on I think it was Cody Rhodes, and then that ended the match. I was just dead at like the OD Roman Reigns spears because his spears have been just out of control, like completely unnecessary. Like Rey Mysterio is sitting there setting up 619s. By the time Rey Mysterio bounces off the ropes and is getting ready to head towards him, Roman Reigns is already halfway across the ring and ready to just like break him into pieces. It's getting hilarious now. It's almost comical, like how bad he's hurting him. But then Ambrose like taunting, and the way like after he hits the headlock driver and then goes to the pin, it just like everything that the Shield is doing right now is out of control. They're back. Like the Shield is back. Before we had that moment where the Shield were just like strangely mid-carding and losing matches, that's over now. The Shield is officially back, and they're OD. So after the Shield, and that was a fun match to watch. It was a good start off to the match. So after that match is over, Michael Strahan comes out for Miz TV. Just wonderful. I love Miz TV. Miz TV is wonderful, and I have a lot of problems with this one too. They do Miz TV, and Miz introduces Michael Strahan. Ha ha ha! It's not really Michael Strahan. It's Titus O'Neil with a giant ass gap in his mouth. Now I have to say, Titus O'Neil's impersonation of Michael Strahan was very good. At times, I actually thought, like, if I turned away, I thought Michael Strahan was actually speaking, and that it was actually him. But yeah, he pretends to have the whole gap tooth and everything, and whatever. And the Miz tries to like make fun of his gap and does all his catchphrases, and no one's laughing at him, but everybody's laughing at Titus. And then Michael Strahan comes out, and then they're all making jokes, and the segment is getting less funnier and less funnier and less funnier. And then Michael Strahan announces that the main event tonight is going to be Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show. And he says, oh, yeah, no. He said Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio, and people are like, and then Strahan just goes, oh, you people don't like that. Well, we got a 7-foot, 450-pound Big Show, and no one reacts to that either. And John Cena tagging together to go up against them. So now the crowd is just out of it at this point. And then Miz goes and like challenges Strahan because he's like, oh, I do this every night. Can you hack it? And I'm like, dude, Miz, shut the fuck up. Like, first of all, he's a football player. What he actually does on the field is way tougher than anything you've ever done in your life. Anything. And so Michael Strahan is just like, oh yeah, like the Miz is like saying like, oh, can you even handle doing a hip toss? And so the Miz tries to do a hip toss on him, he can't do it. Then Titus tries to do a hip toss on him, and he can't do it. Then the Miz tries to do it again, but then Strahan reverses it and he does a hip toss, and then he double turns by doing a hip toss on Titus O'Neil. And then Titus O'Neil does the Millions of Dollars dance that the Miz joins in on. And the whole segment makes zero fucking sense. I don't even know why it happened. Didn't the Miz like turn heel or something when he, like taunted Kofi Kingston on the hot tag, and then wasn't it established that the Miz is a heel? So why is he doing the Millions of Dollars dance with Titus O'Neil and Michael Strahan? Like nothing made sense. Nothing. Absolutely nothing made sense about that segment. Nothing. So, moving on, Michael Cole announces that Dolph Ziggler and Damian Sandow are going to have a match, and Dolph Ziggler, we get to choose like what the match is going to be. Basically, doing the whole hardcore match again, where you get to choose what it is. But this time you get to choose what it is. For Raw Country, they did what was called a Broadway match, which is weird considering that Broadway is in New York and not in the country. But yeah, you got to choose between like a hardcore match or a street fight or something else like that. I don't remember. And you have to use the WWE app. If you don't know how to download it, you blah 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 blah. So the match after that was Mark Henry and Biggie Langston teaming up to go against Ryback and Curtis Axel. Ryback and Curtis Axel got the jobber entrance because no one cares about Curtis Axel, at least. And Ryback, I don't know. I'm starting to not be interested in Dick Ryback anymore either. With Mark Henry and Biggie Langston. Mark Henry with the baldy and then his big ass back. Like, we were watching the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and I just missed the Mark Henry match, and all Wise and Smalls were telling me about was just the girth of Mark Henry's back, and like how he was just like rubbing his back on like the fans' faces. Yo, I'm dead serious. Mark Henry's back blocked out like two fat people in the front row. Not even joking. Like, his back is out of control. Even the commentators were getting Mark Henry's back over in this match. But yeah, this match lasted like 4 minutes. Pretty much Ryback and Curtis Axel got their asses handed to him. No need to go on. Mark Henry hits the World's Strongest Slam on Axel, gets the win. Moving on. Oh, God. This happened. Yeah. You wanted to see, it's a match everybody wanted to see at Survivor Series, the 7-on-7's Divas Elimination Tag Match. Hey, if you didn't get enough of that at Survivor Series, we're going to do it again on Monday Night Raw. Because fuck Batista. Naomi, Cameron, the Bellas, Natalya, Eva Marie, JoJo, and JoJo versus Oksana, Tamina, Snuka, Alicia Fox, Caitlyn, AJ, Summer Rae, and Rosa Mendez. I don't get this. Like, why did this match need to happen again? It was already bad enough at the pay-per-view. Like, what possible result can you get here to make this any better? And of course, the result at the end of this one was horrible. First of all, I don't even care how the match started. At some point in this match, Nikki or Brie, just like I don't know what happened. I think like Brie might have tagged in Nikki, and then like Rosa Mendez came in off of Brie being eliminated, and not Brie. I'm sorry, Oksana being eliminated, and then like Rosa Mendez came in, and then Brie and Nikki did this double team move that was like a roll up, pretty much. And Rosa Mendez got eliminated on a roll-up, even though she was completely fresh. The roll-up looked really sloppy and really slow. Like, I literally tweeted, what did Rosa Mendez just get eliminated by? Like, why does she need to be in this match? She didn't even need to be there. Didn't need to be there at all. It was horrible. Hated it. But yeah, this whole match was just like a small slam and then 3 count. Small slam, 3 count. Small slam, 3 count. I think at some point, Oksana hit a spine buster on, like, I think when the match started, Oksana got a good deal of offense in on Brie. Um, no, I'm thinking about. I need to stop getting them confused because a lot of this shit didn't make sense. I'm gonna stop. Moving on. Uh, like Natalia at some point, I think like suplexed um Tamina. Oh no! She was it a suplex or a scoop slam? I can't remember. I think she scoop slammed Tamina and then went and tagged in JoJo so JoJo could get her revenge pin from last night because we know JoJo doesn't really have any offense yet. I mean, I liked it last night where JoJo made Tamina more intimidating. I mean, granted, she looks like a little schoolgirl in comparison to Tamina, so I mean that's what should happen. And like JoJo had that false finish roll up because of an awkward looking Samoan drop, and then like Tamina Snuka like destroyed her, which is what should happen. And then Tamina got the pin. I didn't like it here when Natalia had to go beat up like she had to be the big sister and go beat up Tamina, and then like JoJo went in and got her pin on Tamina. That I was not a fan of. I didn't like that at all. Tamina should have kicked out of that shit. JoJo's way too small. A pin on her wouldn't hurt. So JoJo then Alicia Fox comes in, and JoJo tries to roll her up, and then Alicia hits the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and I'm telling you, that shit was stiff. Like, Alicia Fox hit that tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on her, and when she came down on her knee, she kept her there for like a second, then she picked JoJo up and threw her ass on the mat. Like, completely stiff, got the 3 count, which is exactly what should have happened there. And the thing that I did, and the thing that I liked about that I didn't like about last night's, is that when Alicia Fox hit that tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and she got off a lot of offense as well. She hit that tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, I want to say on like a Bella or something, and they kicked out at 1. Kicked out at 1. Because like psychology and shit doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't. Oh, and then of course fucking Eva Marie comes in and rolls up Alicia Fox because whatever. Um, you know what? I'm just gonna no sell the rest of this. Okay, so a lot of shit happens. The only thing that you need to know about is that somehow at the end of this match, Eva Marie and the Bella twins are still alive. All 3 of them are still alive, with Summer Rae being left. And Summer Rae and Nikki Bella have a dance-off. You heard me right. Summer Rae and Nikki Bella are having a dance-off in the middle of a fucking real wrestling match because apparently I guess they've run out of offense at this point and they have no other moves to do. They're having a dance-off, which they kind of did at Survivor Series, but basically all this match was to do was to tease a Nikki Summer Rae feud with dancing. Because, like, I don't get it. Like, why did the Total Divas have to destroy them in this round? Like, just, you know what? Fuck this match. Moving on. Dolph Ziggler and Damian Sandow end up in a hardcore match. I appreciate what Dolph Ziggler did here. He came out not only in a New York Islanders Tavares hockey sweater, but then underneath that sweater, he had a Zack Ryder t-shirt. I am totally cool with that. I appreciate what he did there, considering they were in Long Island that night, and Zack Ryder deserves some. I mean, come on. We can't even get Zack Ryder in his own hometown. Like, do we just not like that guy that much that we can't even get him over in his own hometown? The hardcore match was pretty entertaining. There were some pretty funny spots where Ziggler went and like they were outside the ring and Ziggler reversed something, got a trash can. threw it on Sandow's head, and then drop kicked him, drop kicked the trash can while it was still on Sandow's head. I thought that was pretty funny. There were some really good spots, some really good like moments with hard, using the weapons where they tease getting hit with a lot of the golf clubs, like because I thought it was going to happen where somebody was going to get hit with a golf club, which would have like seriously hurt, and which is obviously why they didn't do it. But yeah, there were a lot of good spots. I enjoyed it. I'm wondering if they're testing out bringing back hardcore matches by doing this. But yeah, Sandow ends up winning. He hit Sandow with they had like a paddle in the ring. And then he you're welcomed him on a garbage can for a 3 count. And what I liked about this one that they didn't do in the other one was that when Dolph Ziggler pinned Damian Sandow, he didn't really pin him. He just kind of like because technically Damian Sandow isn't on the mat. Like he's in the drum barrel and his shoulder is clearly up. And yet they still counted a pin on him anyway. But here, like, even though he did the "You're welcome" on the garbage can, he pulled the garbage can from underneath him, pinned him on the mat for 3, which I liked. There was also a lot of good heel work here from Damian Sandow as well. There was a moment where he went to go for the elbow of disdain, but what he didn't say was he grabbed that Tavares jersey. Like he grabbed like the Islanders jersey. He was like using it as like a sweat rag for him, and then like he put the jersey on top of Dolph Ziggler, and then hit the elbow of disdain on him. I thought it was hilarious. It was good heel work, which makes me wonder why isn't this guy one of the top heels? Not number one, but like not the top heel, but one of the better heels in WWE right now. His work is very good. He's proven it time and time again that he can get good. He can get legit heat. He can get very good heat no matter what feud he's in, and he can do it either comedically or he can do it in a very serious tone. And we saw that when Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow were feuding over the briefcase. It was excellent. He did it here as well in this match, and yet he doesn't get any respect at all. Like it makes no sense to me. Anyway, Damian Sandow wins. I would really like it if he changed that "You're welcome." Like I like the idea of naming the move "You're welcome," but I like the silencer a little better. Just so he can, like, I guess we're moving on from silence to just "You're welcome," and that's it. I don't know. But yeah. Anywho, moving on. Oh yeah, there was a lot of Miz promos for the whole night because we can't get enough of the Miz. So everybody's talking about that whole Christmas bounty thing, and they showed a clip of that girl who's in it too. Smalls mentioned this as well, and I totally agree. That girl looks about 100 times better without makeup, or without all the makeup that she had on for that movie. Because holy shit, like they overdid it in the movie. But she came on to Raw, and she just looks natural. I'm like, shit, Jesus. Anywho, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan come out to the ring. And they get some mic work in for Renee, who just looked like she was wet the entire time with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan there. CM Punk pretty much goes and does a whole bunch of yes-related questions. So like CM Punk would ask a question like, "Are we in Long Island? Yes. Are we gonna destroy the Wyatts? Yeah. Is Wyatt a false prophet? Yeah. Why isn't Renee? Is it weird that Renee isn't asking any questions to us right now? Yes." And then he asked a question about like what tag team name is better, the Goats, Goats, the greatest of all teams, or the Beard and the Best. And Daniel Bryan goes and starts to say yes, and then he's like, "Wait, that's not a yes or no question." It was pretty comedical. It's great because like it's clear that they're relating to the crowd, and that they're over. They're clearly over because at this point, if they can do something as cheesy as doing yes and no answer questions, and the crowd is still loving it, they're fucking over. Like there's no denying it. But yeah, CM Punk goes and takes a shot in at Triple H. And he's like, "Oh, it's uncreative, and it isn't surprised that Triple H made a 3-on-2 handicap match between those two, and then the Wyatts. Um, and Daniel Bryan goes and asks what time it is, and Punk goes ahead and screams it's clobbering time. And then the Wyatt's music hits. They're like, enough of this shit. And then we have the Wyatt family versus CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Pretty decent match. Pretty good match, actually. I dare say that outside of the Shield and the Rhodes family and Rey Mysterio match, this probably was the second best. Probably was the best match of the night. Yeah, if I'm saying outside of that match, yeah, this probably was outside of that match the best match of the night. Just some really, really good work. Good to see Bray back in the ring. Like Luke Harper doing the Gator rolls. It's just hilarious. Like I love it. Like the moveset is making sense for these guys because it's all a lot of strength moves, but then it's a lot of just like roughhouse too. Like it's not like a power guy like a Mark Henry or a Ryback or Biggie Langston. It's very intimidating roughhouse brawler kind of moves. Like the big boots and the uppercuts and the and kind of like the headbutts and whatnot. I really like it, and it mixes well with Bryan and Punk, who kind of have a similar mentality, but they do it in a more martial art fashion where CM Punk is practices Muay Thai, and Daniel Bryan, together they do like the kicks and whatnot. They're going after their they're pretty much is what's keeping them on their feet. Their legs. They keep going after their legs the entire match. I mean, I liked the work in it all. And the way that the match ended, I was a fan of as well. Because basically, all the Wyatt family comes in, and after Daniel Bryan tries to put the yes lock on Harper, Rowan stops stops the yes lock. Daniel Bryan goes and like drop kicks both of them. And then Punk got into the ring, and then Bray got into the ring, and then it became mayhem. The Wyatts took control. They powered the shit out of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. And then the Wyatts just walked off with Daniel Bryan. They were just like, all right, time to follow the buzzers, motherfucker. Let's go. And as Punk starts to get up and realizes that Daniel Bryan is being walked off with, he starts to go. He's walking towards the outside. He turns and spear out of nowhere. Roman Reigns giving free spears to everyone. Everyone's getting a free spear tonight, even CM Punk. And then she'll just sit there and pose. Sit there and pose on top of Punk, and then they walk and then they talk while the replay is showing. They're just pretty much hamming it up. It's great. I love it. So that match ended in a no contest. Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. No one cares. The Miz won. Moving on. Xavier Woods versus Heath Slater. Xavier Woods is pretty much Xavier Woods and I think R-Truth. Xavier Woods and R-Truth I think are the new like Tons of Funk, except they're not Tons of Funk, they're black people. With the Funkadactyl. So now you have an all black group because whatever. I'm missing something here, aren't I? Okay, so before this match happened, I don't want to get into that one yet. Probably one of my favorite parts of the Raw tonight, and this is a sad thing if this is the best part, one of the best parts of your Raw, because it's not saying a lot about it. Mick Foley is doing the whole WWE shop salesman thing, and he does it as Cactus Jack, or Mick Foley, Dude Love, and as Mankind, and I gotta tell you, it was gold. It was hilarious. I loved it. Loved it. I almost wanted to buy something if I had the money. But yeah, anyway. And then before that, right, they had this Jewish guy who I think like won a contest or something. And he was just like, his dream was to be a wrestler for a day. And Lawler asked him, what would your name be? And he's like, I would be the kosher butcher. So he's the kosher butcher. And Lawler unfortunately asked him what his finisher would be, and he said the circumcision. Moving on. Xavier Woods versus Heath Slater. Um, Very, very, very quick match. A lot of this, a lot of what Michael Cole said in this match made me want to punch him in the face. Oh, he has over 9,000 on his trunks because that's how hard he works in the gym and he just believes you can always get stronger. And I'm like, no, you stupid motherfucker. It's a Dragon Ball Z reference. If you don't understand what over 9,000 actually means, then you don't get it. Don't sit here and comment on it as if you know what it means when you don't. Vegeta, what's the scouter say about his power level? I mean, like, come on. Like, don't ruin that for us. Don't sit there and be like you know what it means, because you don't. It's just like, seriously, like, do you have to do that? I just, like, I need you to not do that, Michael Cole. I need you to stop giving false information. Just like when Xavier Rhodes comes out and he's from Angel Grove, California. No one, like, if you don't get it, don't comment on it. It's a Power Rangers reference. Let it be that. Angel Grove, California. It's not even a real place. Or it's not supposed to be a real place. Anyhow, moving on. Xavier Woods wins after he does the Eat Defeat. And I think he's stopping to do the It's Morphin' Time thing. Because I remember in his first match, he yelled, "It's Morphin' Time." I don't know what he yelled in the corner this time around. I'm guessing WWE put a stop to it. Because they're like, oh, no, you're not doing any Power Rangers references here. So, yeah, I don't know what he yelled this time around. Anyway, he wins. So, yeah, there's a segment with Strahan, and he's in the back, and he's signing footballs for a whole bunch of people. He signs footballs for the Bellas, and then and the Bellas like, Strahan's like, who's your favorite team? And he's like, I'm sorry, Philadelphia Eagles. Strahan should just slap the football out of her hand when that happened. But then the Funkadactyls come in and they get an autograph. And Ava Marie comes out and everyone immediately boos the shit out of her, which it's aggravating me a little bit because yes, you should boo the shit out of her because it's go away heat. It's not good heat. It's go away heat. But WWE will spin it and be like, oh, look at the reaction she's getting. She's such a great heel. No, not at all. No. So I'm going to need people to start just no sell it. Just no sell the fact that she's even on the TV screen. I know it should piss you off, and it does piss you off, and it pisses me off too. But I'm just going to need you to no sell that real quick. No sell it. Just no. Just like she no sells shit. Just no sell it. So Eva comes out and says that, she just wanted him to meet her. And that you can see her on her TV show. It's her TV show now. Total Divas is her TV show. And then Michael Strahan just had the honor to meet her. No sell it. Just no sell it. She needs to fuck off, but no sell it. But she ended up being set up by the funny part of this segment, which is Goldust coming up from behind Strahan, and Strahan turning around and being surprised. Goldust is in like the robe, the wig, the blonde wig, and everything. He just stares at him, does a little scoff. It was hilarious. I liked it. But it's bad that like the best parts of Raw are pretty much comedy relief. That's what it is. Because once we get to the nitty gritty and we get to the meat and the potatoes, there's nothing really there. And that's bad. Which leads us to our main event. John Cena and the Big Show versus Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio. I'm going to be honest with you. I fell asleep halfway through this match. Like, it started off and it was Big Show and Del Rio, and when you're starting off with Big Show and Del Rio, yeah, I'd rather just sell that the train is here right now. Just like I'm that's what I'm more interested in. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty much it. The train left. Everybody's gone. Nobody wants to see the rest of that match. Yeah, I'm with the train. See you later. I'm dead serious. I fell asleep for most of this match. I just like, I was waiting to hear, like, I had it on in the background as I was like, doing other stuff on the internet. Like, I was on Twitter. I checked Facebook. I was like, making mashups to this one song that we're doing to wrestlers' entrances. Like there was just more important things to do. Like I just like I didn't care. I didn't. If you ask me what happened during that match, I don't know. I know that at some point I turned around and Del Rio hit like a backstabber and was yelling C, and then I finally turned around because I'm like, okay, here's the finish. Um, he went for the cross arm breaker, and then they did the finish that they false finished at Survivor Series. Cena rolls through, uh, gets the STF in, and then Del Rio taps out. Um, Del Rio tries to attack Cena again, but then Cena AAs him. Then Orton hits Cena in the head with the WWE title, and goes and then he grabs the he runs over to like the ring announcer, gets the WWE the World Heavyweight Championship, and goes and just holds both championships over John Cena, and Raw ends. Like, do you even care right now that the titles are being unified? Honestly, here's what I'm more interested in. What are the Shield doing with CM Punk? Um, what are the Wyatts doing with Daniel Bryan? Um, what's Dolph Ziggler and Damian Sandow's next gimmick match going to be? Big E Langston, is he going to feud with Curtis Axel, or is he going to feud with somebody else? What's it going to be? Because I'm interested. I want to see some Intercontinental Championship matches. Cody Rhodes, Goldust. They just lost the Shield again with Rey Mysterio. Does this mean the belt's coming off of him? I'm rather more interested in that because I really am not interested in and that's the thing. Like, the titles are being unified and I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care if the titles are being unified. That's bad. That's really bad. Because this should be the most important thing that is happening in WWE. Like, when Jericho was in a match with with The Rock, and then he beat The Rock, and then he had to go against Stone Cold to and become unified champion. That was important. It was a big deal because there were surprises around the corner. Anything could have happened, and everything was believable. Like, it just you loved everything that was happening towards that moment, towards that point. And I talked about this with Wiza and Smalls for a while, where it's just like WWE has booked themselves into a hole because they've refused to let the man to the man get a chance. And Jericho has publicly said this, that during his career, he was the man to the man. I somewhat disagree with that, and I somewhat agree with it. Because, I mean, he only really held the WWF Championship once. He held it once, and that was when he unified the titles. But him unifying the titles is probably one of the most remembered moments in WWE history. And he made it, he helped to make him unifying the belts. It made the belts mean something. And granted, Triple H won it afterwards, and then, the belts later on down the road ended up being split up into, and Triple H awarded, and he pulled it out of a briefcase and awarded himself the World Heavyweight Championship later on. But just the fact that somebody else could win it, the fact that it wasn't always the top guy winning, made the belt mean a lot more, because it just, like, there are surprises around the corner. It means, like, that there aren't just chosen guys who are the only ones who can win it. It could be anyone at any given moment, and you let those guys have a chance to run with it, and then, you don't have this problem right now where it's like, oh shit, we're doing Randy Orton and John Cena again. Crowd hasn't got tired of that one, have they? I just, like, I mean, because you look at it from the standpoint of right now. I mean, like, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan aren't in a position to compete for it right now. Who else is going to compete for the title? I mean, Big Show is not a serious competitor. Alberto Del Rio, we're done with that now. So who else is there? Cody Rhodes can't do anything because he hasn't really built up anything to make sense for a feud to happen. And right now, he's also the tag team champion, so that just took him out of any really big title picture right now. Not saying that he can't go for it, but I mean the tag team title is holding him up at the moment. Um, Actually, you know what? I take that back. He has built up some animosity with Randy Orton that he could compete and it would make sense. Let me not say that. Um, but outside of that, like who else is? I mean, we want to see Antonio Cesaro get a push and compete for a major championship, but that's not going to happen either right now because he's stuck with the Real Americans. It's like there's nothing to do right now. WWE booked themselves into this hole. This is their fault. You didn't let other guys get a chance. You didn't. You didn't give any other guys a chance. And that's why you are where you are right now, where your main event for your last pay-per-view was Randy Orton versus Big Show in a match that went on 10 minutes and the pay-per-view cut off 20 minutes early. It's your fault, WWE. You did it. It's all on you. So that's Raw from November 25th, 2013. I'm Blackjack, and I'm tired of this shit, because fuck Batista. Peace.